prettiest little city in Michigan is just about to get a little bit prettier, all from the help of some experts that are on a mission to help you make your neighborhood greener and healthier along the way. Here to tell us more is Marilyn Trent from the Rochester Pollinators. Marilyn, thank you for being on the show today.
Well, I thank you for having me. I wasn't aware of, what is it, Civic Center TV, CCT, so I'm really interested in learning more.
Well, glad to have you with us and to learn a little bit about us along the way as well. We're learning about your initiative, Healthy Yards, Pretty City. You've got an upcoming event coming up in the city of Sylvan Lake. Take us through Healthy Yards, Pretty City and sort of the mission behind this initiative.
Well, in 2019, when I learned the monarch butterfly was in decline by up to 90%, and depending on the year, and it was all because of plant choice, which it was basically other mitigating circumstances, but the most important thing was milkweed was being replaced by non-native plants. So that started my journey on this Healthy Yards. Well, it's called many things: sustainability, conservation, healthy yards, being able to improve the ecological system that we live in, and through replacing non-natives or introducing non-native trees and shrubs and plants and flowers to save other pollinator insects, which are in decline by 40%. So it just really grew, no pun intended. So I am now on city council. I'd always been involved with our city, and so here I am. Our city was already involved with the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, which is a national initiative to save the monarch butterfly. And if you can save the monarch butterfly, you can save the other insects.
And we've had similar initiatives here in our community in past years. We know that in the past decade, Karen Meebrod and others from the city of Keego Harbor have even partnered with some of our local representation to try to get the monarch butterfly named our state insect. It didn't ultimately end up going through, but their campaign to support this the monarch butterfly continues, as does those for our friends at West Bloomfield Parks. That's what the big impact here is. You bring those butterflies back to pollinators to help with the local plant life. But what are some of the other more impactful steps that people in the city of Sylvan Lake and neighboring areas like Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield can take?
I'm glad you asked. So besides planting native species, and you need to make sure they are Michigan native species, and the way you know that is to look at the Latin name and look it up, because there are cultivars, and the cultivars are not as nutrient rich, and some of them, if the colors change, like if they genetically modified, like the coneflower, and from a purple to a orange, then sometimes insects can't identify them. So you also should and can reduce your lawn area. You need to avoid pesticides and herbicides, because that is another major impact on killing insects. And I never thought I would be trying to save bugs, but I am now, and understanding how important they are to our livelihood, our planet's livelihood. Because if we lost our insects, the food web would collapse. And don't use fertilizer on the plants; they don't need them. And it ends up in our water systems, and that is not good, because 40% of our groundwater is where Michiganders get their water that comes out of their faucet. You need to remove invasive species like Japanese barberry, buckthorn, Callery pear, burning bush, things that people love. They are invasive, and they are. That means they're aggressive, and they are getting into our ecological landscapes beyond our yards, and taking over our natural areas. And you can support dark skies, which protects nocturnal wildlife like bats and birds and moths and butterflies.
And so you're going to be having a conversation Monday, September 15th, begins at 7 o'clock at the Sylvan Lake Community Center, free for the public to attend. A social mixer at 6:30 beforehand to get some questions answered before you do some learning at 7 o'clock. What is this whole conversation really going to center around? Of course, preserving the monarch butterfly, some of these initial steps, but what else can people learn by attending this discussion on Monday?
Well, yes, beyond that, it is what I have learned that that you're going to be we're encouraging you to plant these plants and reduce your lawn by less mowing, which reduces air pollution. They're perennials, so you save money. They come back every year. They have deep roots, which helps filter out pollutants. It decreases soil compaction, and they soak up 90% more than turf grass. And so, yeah, you're going to learn that this is a gift that keeps on giving. They don't wash your dishes, but they do almost everything else that you might be having issues with in your yards, are because of a lot of the issues are. And I learned in Sylvan Lake that there is spongy yards. The water is just running off because that's what happens. It runs off grass immediately. Turf grass is like one step above concrete, and it's slamming into the streets where you get that high level watermarks that stall cars and cause even more problems of flooding. So these plants, I know it's such an easy solution, people can't believe it, but that's what you'll learn. And then you'll also learn that there's other people in the community that are thinking the same thing and they don't know what to do. One thing that Sylvan Lake, the women that called me from the Sylvan Lake Garden Club, that's how I was contacted because of the mini forest that City of Rochester planted. They called me and said, we have a geese problem, we have algae blooms, we have mosquitoes, and we have, spongy and wet areas and flooding. And I said, we have a plant for that.
Yeah, all helps. And those geese, I'd like to walk places that are close by to our studio here, like West Bloomfield Town Hall. I'd like to go for a little walk before these Sylvan Lake meetings every month as well. And this time of the year, it's like walking in the minefield when you go on the grass. Those native plants help get rid of some of those geese, take care of some of those root problems as well. Marilyn, we got about 30 seconds left with you. Before we let you go, how else can people get involved with Rochester Pollinators or other local organizations after this? Are there going to be follow-up workshops or other events?
Well, number one, North Oakland Wild Ones is a chapter of a national Wild Ones organization that meets every month at the Johnson Nature Center in Bloomfield Hills. And they are a membership organization that focuses on anything that has anything to do with native plants and flowers. So they're a group of experts, and you do not have to be a member to attend the meetings. And the Sylvan Lake Garden Club is another one these are the women that called me, several of them. We had a nice talk, and they wanted me to come in and start talking about how integrating native plants and can help with geese problems. Putting back what nature intended is what the solution is. And nature didn't have fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides in the lakes that causes algae blooms. They had long, beautiful grass and flowers along that water's edge. I mean, wouldn't that be prettier than turf grass?
Absolutely, and there's so much more to learn, of course, on their website, rochesterpollinators.org. On Facebook and Instagram, you can follow them at Rochester Pollinators and join them Monday, September 15th, beginning at 6:30 with a presentation at 7 at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Marilyn, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.